Hey there, and welcome back to the Board Game Sherpa, the channel whose goal is to take the fear out of learning new board games and put the fun back in. Well, it's getting closer to GenCon 2024, and board gamers around the world are really starting to get excited. I know my friends and I are. This year will be our 6th time driving up to Indianapolis from New Jersey, and I can't wait for all the craziness to begin. Now, if you're thinking about coming, especially if you're a first-timer, go watch my 25 essential tips for first-time attendees at GenCon video. It will give you a great primer on what to expect. I'll be putting more Road to GenCon 2024 info up on this channel as it gets closer, so subscribe and keep checking back. I'm not telling you what to do, but it might be in your best interest to subscribe. I'm just saying. It's also early June here, and the Board Game Geek website has started posting previews of the new games coming out for GenCon 2024. I know I've been looking at lists and checking it maybe 5-6 times a day to see what's hot and what I plan to buy when I'm there. If you don't know what Board Game Geek is, Google it. It's a must-watch website for anyone into board games. So, using my own super secret Board Game Sherpa algorithm, with major help from Board Game Geek, of course, here's the first batch of 15 games that look like they're going to be huge at GenCon 2024. I'll probably do one of these videos in July as well, when even more games get announced, so keep checking back. So, let's cue the titles and let's get started. Oh yeah, I apologize for butchering these wonderful designers' names in advance. I'm trying my best here. And away we go. Number 1, Sea Dragons by Draco Studios. Designers are Yaniv Kahana, Simone Luciani, and Pini Schechter. Art by Weberson Santiago. The description from the publisher is, humanity has become more daring when sailing the seas. More and more pirate ships venture into the forbidden seas of the gods, endangering their underwater kingdoms and the strange creatures that live there. In Sea Dragons, you must protect the seas by sinking pirate ships, collecting their treasure, and becoming the legendary protectors of the aquatic kingdoms. In the game, each participant plays as a family of sea dragons who are seeking to become the protectors of the forbidden seas. Each turn, one of the 2 pattern cards from one hand will be played to position a sea dragon on the board, increasing your presence in all 4 sea kingdoms. You will be able to sink ships or collect treasures hidden in the ocean. Optionally, you can complete missions with the ships that you are sinking. Note, you can't place your own sea dragons next to each other, and if you place one next to another player's dragon, they receive treasures. Your long-term goal is to achieve the greatest presence in each of the 4 kingdoms at the very end of the game, and get the most victory points by completing missions and collecting treasures. I'm really loving the early photos and descriptions for this one. It just might make my short list of games to get. Number 2. Arcs by Leader Games. Designer Cole Werley with art by Kyle Ferrin. The description from the publisher is, Arcs is a sharp sci-fi strategy game for 2 to 4 players set in a dark yet silly universe. Ready yourself for dramatic twists and turns as you launch into this galactic struggle. Seize the initiative. Take actions with multi-use cards. Copy the leader. Pivot to new tactics. Or take the initiative for next round. Timing is everything. Declare ambitions. In each game, you define the objectives that everyone competes over to win. Crush your foes. Amass your navy for battle. Plan your strategy with 3 kinds of dice, then roll them all at once to resolve the battle in a flash. Each game contains 100 wooden chips and agents, 18 custom engraved dice, a beautiful 6-panel board, and tons of cards with over 60 pieces of unique art. Number 3, Rock Hard 1977 by Devir Games. Designer Jackie Fox with art by Jennifer Geiner. The description from the publisher is, it's 1977. You're an up-and-coming musician, dreaming of making it big with your band. Over the next few months, you'll rehearse, play gigs, write songs, and promote your band. With careful planning and a little luck, you'll earn the most fame and become the best new artist of the year. Designed by Jackie Fox, member of the 1970s rock band The Runaways, 4-time Jeopardy champion, and designer of the narrative adventure trilogy The Adventures of the Chubby Slugs, and illustrated by Jennifer Geiner, Rock Hard 1977 allows games for groups of between 2 and 5 players from 14 years old in games lasting about 45 to 90 minutes. Rock Hard 1977 is played over a maximum of 9 rounds, each representing a typical day of 1 month in 1977 from April to December. You win the game by accruing the most fame. How? Increasing reputation, chops, and songs, achieving production, performance, and publicity bonuses, getting record deals and earning royalties, playing concerts, and hanging out at the hottest after-hours spot. Ready to live like a rock star? This one is definitely on my short list to get. One tidbit about the Board Game Sherpa you may not know is that I managed a small band in Jersey a few years ago. Number 4, Windmill Valley by Board and Dice Games. Designer Danny Garcia with art by Pedro Codico and Zbigniew Umgelter. Again, sorry about butchering names. Description from the publisher. It's the late 19th century, and more than 9,000 windmills dot the landscape of the Netherlands, some of them purpose-built to dry the lowlands, called polders. In the polders, between these windmills, are fields filled with colorful tulips, the flower that was once part of a turbulent history of the first financial bubble, but is now simply a quintessential part of the Dutch landscape, especially on the favored Bloom-in route, or Flower Root. In Windmill Valley, a game inspired by the Blooming Root, you and up to 3 players take on the role of tulip farmers and entrepreneurs. You will build and enhance your windmills, look for new tulip bulbs in foreign trades or among local vendors to buy and plant, and try to get an edge with hired help and lucrative contracts. Let your blooming fields make your competitors green with envy. During the game, they can enhance their wheels by adding enhancements to build their engine. Plant tulips in their fields, which will score VP at the end of the game. Build windmills on the main board to activate rewards from adjacent fields. Hire helpers that provide bonuses for certain actions. Get contracts for endgame scoring. And visit the local market and conduct a foreign trade. All in all, Windmill Valley is a light game with quick turns, a smart action selection mechanism, multiple options to build your engine, and a lovely setting. I'm thinking Miss Board Game Sherpa will like this one. Number 5, Undaunted 2200, Callisto, by Osprey Games, designer Trevor Benjamin and David Thompson, with art by Roland McDonald. Description from the publisher. Jovian moonbase, Callisto, 22nd century AD. Tensions have arisen between the conglomerate of Earth's leading corporations that funded the base and mining collective tasked with operating it. Protests have erupted, strikes have been called, and contracts broken. Private security forces have been hired, industrial mining vehicles repurposed for combat, and long disused military mechs reawoken. The battle for Callisto is about to begin. It's time to choose your side. Undaunted 2200 Callisto is a standalone game in the Undaunted series that adapts the core gameplay of previous games to a new science fiction setting. Play across an illustrated map in 2-player mode, 4-player, and solo game modes. Navigate the barren lunar landscape, maneuver to seize dominant high ground positions, and utilize your formidable mechs to gain control of Callisto and its precious resources. I know my own personal board game Sherpa, Johnny Rocks, will be paying attention to this one. Number 6, Cities by Devir Games. Designers Steve Finn and Phil Walker Harding. Art by Jorge Tabanera Redondo. The description from the publisher is, you've been tasked by the city council to put together a plan to transform a whole neighborhood in the city. You have the opportunity to build new housing, office buildings, parks, and leisure areas near the waterfront. It is in your hands to make the city a better place. Cities is a city building game to which you draft the best projects and arrange them in your own playing area. Designed by Steve Finn and Phil Walker Harding and illustrated by Jorge Tabanera, it allows games for groups of 2 to 4 players, ages 10 and up, lasting about 40 minutes. With action and resource draft mechanisms, it will give you the opportunity to visit the cities of Sydney, London, New York, Barcelona, Rio de Janeiro, Lisbon, Mexico City, and Buenos Aires. Can you design the most magnificent neighborhood? The game is played over 8 rounds or 4 rounds in a 2-player game. Each round, players use their workers to collect 1 scoring card, 1 city tile, 1 to 2 feature tiles, and 2 to 4 building pieces. City tiles are made up of park spaces, water spaces, and building spaces. Building pieces are placed on building spaces of the same color to form buildings, which can be 1 to 4 stories high. Whenever a player fulfills an achievement, they place one of their discs on the achievement board. At the end of the game, players add up the points they have gained from all of their scoring cards and achievements. Number 7, MetroRunner by Thunderworks Games. Designer Stephen Kerr with art by Ignacio Bazan Lezcano. The description from the publisher is, being a runner in Mirror City's underworld ain't easy, but you're determined to make a name for yourself amidst all the opportunities a dystopian future has to offer. After all, you're the sharpest hacker in your district, right? Keep a wary, bio-enhanced eye over your shoulder as you ride the Metro, though, because other runners are determined to cut in on your action. MetroRunner is a competitive worker movement and resource collection game for 1 to 5 players set in a high-tech neon future featuring a tile puzzle minigame. Circling the districts of Mirror City on the Metro line, you compete for resources as you race to fulfill contracts for the ruthless and greedy mega corporations. Grow your influence and gain reputation, squeezing every credit you can get from corrupt factions, while you secretly steal their data for your home district. Carefully plot your path around the city to avoid and cut off other runners, while taking opportunities to use your skills and upgrades to hack into the network nodes. Manipulate the circuitry of the central tile grid, cleverly altering the pathways of an ever-changing puzzle to breach the firewalls. Secure your influence and notoriety by completing tricky jobs across the city, hijacking black market tech, and spending your hard-earned credits wisely. Only then will you rise above the competition, earning a coveted place within the power struggle of Mirror City. At the end of the line, will you win the respect of the underworld or fade into obscurity? This is a game I'm glad to see on this list. MetroRunner is published by Thunderworks Games, which makes quite a few games on my top 10 games list. As a matter of fact, I've already kickstarted this one and hope to have it by GenCon. Number 8, AI Space Puzzle by Smart Flamingo and Portal Games. Designer Katarzyna Ksiak, Sylwia Smolinska, Wojciech Wisniewski, Matus Walski. This is getting tougher and tougher. And art by Tomasz Bolek. Description from the publisher. AI Space Puzzle is a cooperative board game in which most players take on the role of people who have been evacuated from Earth on spaceships, and one player performs as a distressed AI that has partially malfunctioned. Its task is to help passengers during this difficult journey, and to do so, it must try to create an effective communication system so that the passengers can be directed to the proper rooms while holding the correct security keys. The AI player uses various tokens to convey the required combination of colors and pawns, but the meaning of the tokens is up to the players to decide. The game includes dozens of scenarios with increasing levels of difficulty, each with new challenges that you must overcome to survive. Beep boop. That was from the publisher, not me. Beyond the beep boop in the description, I'm kind of on the fence about this one. I love puzzle, and it feels like the modern spaceship version of Atari's old adventure game, which I love, but I'm not really a fan of escape rooms. I'll be following this one as more information comes out and see where it goes. Number 9, Fromage by Road to Infamy Games, designer Matthew O'Malley and Ben Rossett, with art by Pavel Zoba. The description from the publisher is, you are a French cheesemaker in the early 20th century, making, aging, and selling your artisanal cheese. Become the most prestigious cheesemaker of all of France by running a highly successful creamery and crafting exceptional cheese. Fromage is a simultaneous worker placement game where players place workers to make cheeses and gather resources from the quadrant of the board facing them. Once all players have placed their workers, the board rotates, aging any cheeses that were made and presenting each player with a new quadrant to place workers into. Score prestige points by selling cheese to the 4 locations and by efficiently managing and upgrading your creamery. A game about making freaking cheese? I love the game Beer and Bread, which just reminds me of, so this one just might make my short list of games I want to buy. Number 10, Devir, Deep Sea by Burnt Island Games. Designer Carl DeVisser and Jarrett Gray. Artist Fahid Al-Rajlan. The description from the publisher is, plunge into the modern era where our planet's vast interconnected oceanscape is one of the last frontiers to discover and explore. Experience a deep, new, ever-changing adventure in this follow-up to the smash hit Endeavor Age of Sail. In Endeavor Deep Sea, you head an independent research institute with the goal of developing sustainable projects and preserving the fragile balance of marine life. Throughout the game, you'll recruit field experts and use their abilities to explore new locations, research drive sites, publish critical and ecological papers, and launch conservation efforts. Expand your expertise, develop your team, and learn as much as possible about the sea. The action your institute takes now could mean a healthy ocean and a sustainable future for the planet. Endeavor Deep Sea is designed by Jarrett Gray and Carl DeVisser, the same creative team behind the smash hit Endeavor Age of Sail. This edition is set in a new era of nautical discovery, but uses streamlined rules which are familiar to fans of the original game. This looks like it will be a beautiful game when it's ready. I'm keeping an eye on this one. Number 11, Undergrove by Aldrich Entertainment Group, aka AEG Games. Designer Elizabeth Hargrave and Mark Wooten, with art by Beth Sobel. The description from the publisher is, for over 300 million years, trees have traded nutrients with fungi in a vast underground network. Scientists continue to make new discoveries about this hidden world. In Undergrove, you are a towering evergreen with an ancient symbiotic connection to the fungi in your forest. As new mushrooms appear, your options expand for converting nutrients and helping your seedlings. Using cube conversion, tile placement, area control, and a tiny little bit of engine building, you'll need to claim the most advantageous locations and optimize your actions to leave the best legacy in the forest. The player with the greatest number of successful seedlings wins. Build a shared forest containing mushrooms with diverse abilities. Trade with the mushrooms, something I never thought I'd say, based on your partnerships you've made. Plan your seedlings in the most advantaged positions to score the most points. Inspired by real mycorrhizal trading networks, Undergrove brings a hidden world to life with stunning artwork and engaging gameplay. Shape the destiny of your forest with every decision. Elizabeth Hargrave of Wingspan made this one. Yeah, this is going to be a huge game. Number 12, Biomos by Northstar Game Studios. Designer Grisha Gurman, with art by Baptiste Perez. The description from the publisher is, Biomos is a 1-to-4 player, quick, addictive puzzle game about developing new planets. As your planet reaches its first billion years, you'll take on the universe's greatest challenge, creating life. Choose and place terrain tokens on your planet to create stunning landscapes. Combine terrain like oceans, forests, and mountains to match specific biome conditions and foster new life on its surface. Including 3 ways to play, Biomos features a family mode for new players and a solo mode for an individual challenge. Whatever mode you choose, you'll always work towards the same goal, developing the most biodiverse planet. Number 13, River Valley Glassworks by Allplay Games. Designer Adam Hill, Ben Pinchback, and Matt Riddle. Art by Andrew Bosley. The description from the publisher. Welcome to River Valley. The beautiful pieces of glass that can be found along the river here have attracted the most entrepreneurial of woodland creatures to set up shop. In River Valley Glassworks, you play as one of these pioneers, drafting glass from the market of river tiles. To do so, you have to play a piece from your inventory into the river. Each river tile can only take a specific shape, and you must play into a space adjacent to where you want to draft from. After you pick up your glass, the river shifts forward, revealing new pieces and new opportunities. Store the glass you pick up strategically in your shop. Depending on how the glass pieces are placed, your score will change drastically. Fill in rows and columns to gain bonus points, but don't draft too many of one type to avoid negative points. Number 14, The Mandalorian Adventures by Unexpected Games. Designer Corey Kanezeka, with art by David Ardilla, Chris Boyors, Matt Bradbury, Mark Bullhow, and 22 others. The description from the publisher is, when offered a lucrative job, a lone bounty hunter begins a journey that will put his skills to the test and redefine his world. The Mandalorian Adventures allows players to experience a new part of the Star Wars universe on their tabletops. Navigating unique maps and missions, players must cooperate to accomplish their goals and avoid defeat. I'm not a Hidden Traitor fan, and I'm always suspicious of games with popular IPs, but I do love the Mandalorian show. I mean, Baby Yoda, am I right? I'll be watching this one. Number 15, Middle Ages, by the publisher Studio H, designer Marc-Andre, and art by Claire Conan. The description from the publisher is, you are the head of a fiefdom and its future is in your hands. Will you develop agriculture with fields and mills, or will you become a pious church builder, or prefer to feast in your sumptuous palaces? Develop your lands in your image and become the most influential lord in the kingdom. In Middle Ages, you explore the essence of medieval urban life through 8 distinct tiles: fields, farms, villages, forts, markets, barracks, churches, and palaces. Each tile features its own scoring system, yet it's linked to the others, offering a rich and immersive game experience. Unleash strategic maneuvers from daring assaults on rival fiefdoms to reserving tiles for future use. Harness the power of tactical combinations to amplify your income and pave your way to triumph. And that's the June update for my top 15 games that you need to see at GenCon 2024. Do you have any games you can't wait for? Did I miss any obvious ones? Put them in the comments and they might just end up in the next update video. Keep checking back for more of my Road to GenCon series where I'll give you all the latest info on cool stuff to do at GenCon and Indianapolis. We may even have some cameos from my own personal board game Sherpa, Johnny Rocks, who's been on here before, and a brand new appearance from No Facebook Eric, who has helped me with this channel before behind the scenes. Think we could turn him into social media, Eric? If you like this video, make sure to subscribe and give a big thumbs up. Sharing this video wouldn't hurt either. It really helped me out and can help bring more new players into the hobby, which will help you when you're trying to find more people to play your favorite games. Deal? Oh yeah, one more thing. If you see me at GenCon, say hello. Let's take a selfie. I can hear No Facebook Eric groaning at that. But seriously, I love hearing from you guys. See you next episode. Inspired by real mycorrhizal trading networks. That's not a real word. Trading networks. Inspired by real mycorrhizal trading networks, Undergrove brings a hidden world to life with stunning artwork and engaging gameplay.